Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to this historic event for MTU, the launch of our first strategic plan, or shared vision 2022 to 2027. We're joined this morning by MTU President, Professor Maggie Cusack, by the Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, Simon Harris, Chairperson of MTU's governing body, Mr. Jimmy Deenahan, and the Presidents of Cork and Kerry Students' Unions, Isabel Kavanagh and Chris Clifford. We're also joined by the Minister for Education, Norma Foley, and Deputy Brendan Griffin. Can I just start by maybe giving them all a warm welcome from MTU? So we're also joined by guests here in the Business and IT building of Kerry North Campus, from Cork and Kerry campuses, and from staff across all of those 6 campuses, and online via our live stream on mtu.ie. You're all most welcome. My name's Rachel Power. I am the Communication Specialist at MTU, and MTU's strategic plan is underpinned by a commitment to sustainability and also to equality, diversity and inclusion. With that in mind, for anyone who is visually impaired, I'd just like to let you know that I am medium height, brown blonde hair, and wearing a black dress and a pink jacket, and I'm standing at a podium. My preferred pronouns are she and her, and we're joined today also by our signer, Aileen Curtain, who'll be helping us for this event. For those of us attending in person, could I just remind you to turn your phones to silent? But that said, we would love if you shared the event on social media using the hashtag #OurSharedVisionMTU. So with that, it is time to welcome our first speaker for our opening address. Could you please join me in welcoming MTU's President, Professor Maggie Cusack, to the podium.
Thank you, Rachel. Cahirlach, Minister Harris, Minister Foley, Deputy Griffin, University Presidents and their representatives, Mr. Deenahan, Chair of our governing body, Governors, members of the MTU community, our students, alumni, current and retired staff, and all distinguished guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all today to MTU, to welcome those in the room, and also to welcome everyone who's joining us online. This is a really important day as we launch our strategic plan, our shared vision 2022 to 2027. It's fabulous to have a copy of the plan in our hands, and as I'm brandishing it at you, Rachel did mention how important EDI is to MTU and it is to our strategy, so I'll describe myself as Rachel did. I describe myself as tall with short blondish hair, and I'm wearing a dress that's turquoise at the top and black at the skirt. My preferred pronouns are she, her. This is a historic moment for the staff and students of MTU, as we work together to become a truly great, internationally competitive technological university. Many of you will have joined us on our flag-raising ceremony back in November, and since then we've been going through a process of transition and transformation that's ongoing. And I think today's publication of our strategic plan really sets out in detail how we intend to progress our mission over the next 5 years. The initial development of our strategic plan was led out by our executive team, who took an approach of positive disruption to the strategy. So this encouraged our executives to really lead in areas outside of their usual portfolio. And I'm sure you'll all agree that change is rarely easy, but embracing positive change and innovation, I think, is absolutely key to success. And I think today we see the results of that mindset in our ambitious objectives and our KPIs. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all staff and students who contributed valuable input and guidance to this strategy, and also to say thank you to all of our external stakeholders who provided useful feedback. To everyone who contributed to this plan in any way, I really want to emphasize our gratitude. Your efforts have helped map out a successful future for our university, and you're also helping to direct the history of MTU and the entire Southwest region. MTU's mission is to lead change and through education, empower people for a successful future in a globalized world. And the publication of the first MTU strategic plan today really sets out how we aim to achieve that mission through 5 strategic enablers. The first of these enablers is equality, diversity, and inclusion. MTU will continue to be a place for students and staff to feel safe, to be the truest and the best version of themselves. We've already been trailblazing in this area, becoming the first white ribbon university in Ireland, tackling gender-based violence. And in line with the new National Access Plan, we will continue to include underrepresented groups like mature students, students with additional needs, and students from the Traveller and Roma communities. The second strategic enabler concerns sustainability. Our current students are the first generations to really see the negative impact of climate change and to see biodiversity loss. Responding to such massive scale emergencies like these will really require brave ideas, sound knowledge, and new skills. And for this reason, sustainability and our commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals will underpin our activities at MTU. The third enabler is our collective commitment to a multi-campus technological university. As you all know, MTU comprises 6 campuses, and as we build a sense of belonging to one university, we do so while respecting the rich histories and individual cultures of each campus. This will all be helped by developing cross-university organisational structures, introducing our new executive team, and establishing our 5 faculties. All of this work will help us deliver on our ambitions. As part of our digital infrastructure and capabilities, the strategic plan's 4th enabler, we plan to be digital by default, helping our staff and students excel in the use of data, technology, and digital services. And last, but certainly not least, the strategic plan's 5th enabler concerns physical infrastructure and capabilities. I'm sure you'll all agree that the last 5 years have been very difficult ones. The last few years have been difficult ones. And I'm particularly mindful of our students, young people who spent much of their young lives really coming to terms with the challenges of a global pandemic. And then to emerge into what? A situation where we have war in Europe and we also have a cost of living crisis. Now, I'm sure our student union presidents will have something to say on that shortly. There's no doubt that MTU's campuses will need to continue to adapt and to improve to facilitate a growing population in the Southwest. We're actually holding our breath at the moment, waiting to hear about the outcome of our 3 bids for capital funding. Now, I'm just thinking that delivering a speech and holding your breath is probably not the ideal combination, but that's the challenging situation we find ourselves in. Minister Harris, we very much welcome the announcement of the €150 million funding package for 3rd level that was announced in last week's budget. And we very much look forward to that resulting in investment in MTU to make sure that our facilities are fit for purpose and that our students can benefit from on-site accommodation and improved infrastructure that we need as soon as possible. Our strategic plan is ambitious, and I believe that this ambition will help us excel in the next stage of our transformation. Today, we're starting on that journey of succeeding together and helping MTU students and staff to reach their full potential. We are ambitious and we are brave. We are MTU. MTU Abu.
Thank you, President. I'd like to welcome also the Cathaoirleach of Kerry County Council, Councillor John Francis Flynn. You're more than welcome. So we're delighted to welcome back to MTU the Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science. We're very grateful for the time that you've taken to join us today on a milestone occasion for the university. Will you please all join me in welcoming Simon Harris?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and good morning. And it's great to be back in MTU. I think this is my third visit to MTU, and you're not yet 2 years old. So, but thank you very much for inviting me to be here with you today. And to those of you here, and to those of you joining us in the Cork campus, and to those watching in, a good morning to all of you. I'm particularly delighted to be in County Kerry with my colleagues, with Minister for Education Norma Foley, with Deputy Brendan Griffin. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here with you today. Cathaoirleach with the governing authority and representatives of the Student Union, and of course the President of MTU, Professor Maggie Cusack. Thank you so much for having me here. Today is actually a very important day, I believe, for third level education in the round in County Kerry, because we're here for the launch of the MTU strategic plan, the vision, the shared plan for the next 5 years. But we're also here in Kerry today for a multi-million euro investment in Kerry College, the Tralee campus, making sure that there's room and capacity for more than 300 additional apprentices and learners each and every year, and then on to Listowel for the announcement of a standalone Kerry College campus in Listowel. And so I think when you look at this in the round, a thriving technological university here in Tralee and in Cork, and indeed across many campuses, and a growing further education and training sector in Kerry, that can only be good for the county, it can only be good for the region. So I really am delighted to be here, and I want to congratulate you on all that you have achieved in a relatively short space of time. I remember when I think I stood at this podium in this room on my first visit, I remember saying that we are moving to a new journey, a new phase, but we're actually going to build on the strengths of what went before us. We were going to build on the strength of what was IT Tralee and what was Cork Institute of Technology, and we're going to try and take it up to the next level. And I really think that's what you've all done here at MTU. And today is indeed, as Rachel says, a milestone day, because today we see the publication of your strategic plan for the next 5 years. And I want you to know that I view this as a very ambitious plan, but it's an ambition that I share, that my department shares, and that the government shares. I was really struck by reading through the plan. You want to become a college community of belonging and success. You want to become a university that attracts local talent, but also global talent. You want to scale your research and your innovation abilities to help you attract and retain talent. And really importantly, you want to become a leader in inclusion and in diversity. And I might pause on that point, because this is absolutely key. It's actually mandated for in law. When we establish the new technological universities, we really want them to be engines for inclusion in their communities. And I think there's a couple of areas in which we can all make progress on this together. Professor Cusack mentioned the new national access plan, and that plan contains, for the first time, ring-fenced funding to develop programs to include students with intellectual disabilities in higher education. We've got to do this, we've got to get this right. I've met far too many parents of children with Down syndrome who've told me, and I remember one mum telling me this in particular, that not only was she not able to watch her child progress after school, like many, many other parents, she actually had to watch her child actively regress because of the cliff edge that many children, many students with intellectual disabilities with Down syndrome can face. We can do better than that. We must do better than that. And I know through the new National Access Plan and through our technological universities, we are going to do better than that. If we're serious about inclusion, and we're serious about diversity, and serious about making sure that every person can attend a university if that is their wish, We have to be real about tackling the cost of education. Up until last week, the only time the student registration fee was ever mentioned in the Dáil in nearly 3 decades was to put it up. The last time it was reduced, I think I was making my Holy Communion that year. That's how long this is going on. And this idea that €3,000 was some sort of magically, brilliant scientific figure behind it, it wasn't. It was brought in a time of austerity, and it's too high. And when you have a parent, and by virtue of biology, many parents have more than one child attending college at the same time. They don't just have to find £3,000, they have to find £6,000, they have to find £9,000. It's not on, it's not right, it's too high. So that's why in this budget we've taken the first step towards reducing the cost of education. And that's not money away from the colleges, as I sometimes hear. We're paying for it. The taxpayers are putting the money into the colleges instead of the parents, instead of the students. So this year, any student who's paying the €3,000 registration fee attending this university will receive €1,000 of a refund before Christmas or €1,000 off their bill. Students who receive student grants will receive a double payment of that grant in December, and all student grants will rise by between 10 and 14% from January each month. And we've lots more to do, particularly when it comes to PhD students and when it comes to our postgraduate students. But we have now set ourselves on a path of investing in universities, but alongside that investment, reducing the cost of education for parents, for students, and that's the twin track approach we need to follow, and we'll continue to build on that. When it comes to our technological universities, I really do feel MTU is very much on the right track and very much has the right vision. You're going to create that university of quality, of diversity, inclusiveness. You're going to build on those extremely strong regional foundations, and we're going to help you get to where you want to get there. We're providing an additional €17.8 million to help our technological universities develop and strengthen capacities. And we're going to make sure that we can add, through this additional investment, structural management, specialist, and support staffing posts. So you will see an increase in the staffing schedule for this technological university in the year ahead. And I think this is going to be crucial because these posts are going to strengthen the new technological universities. They're going to provide sufficient leadership, governance, and strategic operational vision and capacity, because to turn those plans into a reality takes an awful lot of work, and we've got to put those posts in to make sure that can happen. We're also determined that the capital needs to follow as well. And I'm glad, I hope you're still not holding your breath, Maggie, because only because I worry for your health and well-being if you were, but I want to very much acknowledge that there are some excellent 3 projects under the Technological University Fund with my department. And this is my 3rd visit to MTU, but I expect to be making a 4th visit, and I don't like to come empty-handed. So I'll be so breathe again and know that I will be back. I'm back soon, very soon, to try and make progress on that. But already, what do we know about Munster Technological University? Well, we already know that we're going to see a new STEM building on the North Campus. This is going to replace the current infrastructure, which is not fit for purpose, but it's also going to increase your capacity by 440 students. We know that construction is due to commence on that early next year. We know then the following year, we're going to see a very exciting development with a new 6,567 metre squared learning resource centre planned for the Cork campus. And we've also allocated €18.75 million for the extensive upgrade and refurbishment of the 1974 building at the campus as well. And I want to specifically reference student accommodation here because I have a very simple message here in Tralee, a very simple message here for MTU. We are open for business in terms of receiving proposals to build student accommodation. Up until very recently, it was impossible for an Institute of Technology or a technological university to borrow a bean from the government's framework to build any student accommodation. We have changed that reality. Technological universities can today access the borrowing framework to start building student accommodation. We don't just want MTU to be an incredible university for people in Tralee and Cork. We of course want it to be that, but we also want it to be a region that people choose to come and study. And we know that will only work and that vision will only happen if we actually build college-owned, affordable campus accommodation. That is our shared aim. I've had very good meetings with MTU in relation to this, and we will work to make sure that that happens because I know that that is key to your success. So in summary, I want to say this. I want to say it's really clear that in a relatively short time, with a huge amount of work, MTU has achieved an awful lot. I want to thank everybody who works here at MTU for all that you do. It's never easy to work in education at the best of times, and we haven't had the best of times. We've been working through extremely difficult times, and I want to thank everybody for really stepping up to the plate. I want to thank our students and our student union Again, being an officer of a student union, I appreciate it's a very difficult job. Being an officer of a student union in the midst of a cost of living crisis, which is real and which students are certainly not immune to, is even more challenging. And I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing. And I want to thank the governing authority as well. I always think people who serve on governing authorities, it is an act of public service, and we depend on good people to put their names forward. So Jimmy, to you and your team, and to Professor Cusack and her team, thank you so much for all that you've done. Of course, today is a milestone day, but it's just the launch of the new strategic plan. We all need now to work together to pull in the same direction, to turn it into a reality. And I wanted to be here today to say that I believe this is a bright new dawn for MTU. Many believed this would never become a reality. And here we are. The technological university is established. Tralee is a university town. Kerry is a university county. Cork has a new technological university. We have a very exciting pipeline of capital projects. We've more to come. And together we're going to make this plan a reality. Germín Wagov.
Many thanks, Minister Harris. We really do appreciate you being here today, and thank you for your informative and hopeful words. I'd now like to welcome the chairperson of MTU's governing body, Mr. Jimmy Deanahan, to address you.
Cahill of Kerry County Council, Minister Harris, Minister Foley, Deputy Brendan Griffin, students, staff, guests, members of the Board of Governors, and also presidents and chairpersons from other TUs as well. You're all very welcome here. Special welcome to you, Vincent, who has a huge connection with this campus here over the years. Today is certainly a very special day for MTU, and one that marks the next step on becoming a leading technological university in the country, and I believe that we can. I want to especially thank the Minister for taking the time to be with us today. It has certainly been a very busy time for the government recently, and we do appreciate you being here to mark the launch of our first strategic plan. It is an important endorsement of our plan. And also I would like to echo the President's thanks to all of you who contributed to creating this strategy, and to all of you joining us today for this launch. And could I say, being part of drawing up the strategy, it was a truly democratic process, and every element of MTU got an opportunity to make a contribution. And for that, I would like to thank and acknowledge the leadership of our President, Maggie Cusack, because this was her first objective from the time I met her, the strategic plan and the importance of the strategic plan. And she put major emphasis and focus on that. And that's why we're here today, because we have now our 5-year plan. This is our roadmap for the next 5 years. And if we implement it, and we will, it's going to make us a very exciting university to come to. And I would like to thank all of the staff as well, especially for making their contribution to the strategy. They were totally committed to it, and they realise how important it is for their futures as well, and the students whom you'll hear from later. Our President mentioned the 5 enablers underpinning the plan, and these are supporting 5 strategic themes which cover the learner and staff experience at MTU. Our research and innovation, as well as our role in leading regional development and our global outlook. I'd like to outline for you how we arrived at those themes and how they will help guide our mission and objectives in the years to come. As you all know, MTU is comprised of 6 campuses, but with this strategy, we are really beginning to act and work together as one university. So no longer will we be referring to Cork or Kerry. Now we're one, and I think that's very, very important. And you know, we have that traditional tension and rivalry and so on, but this is different. That's the message that Maggie is sending as someone coming from outside the territory, the region. And that's a message too that I would like to send. So we're just a sum of all the parts, and that's so important. And I know that's the spirit, but I say people from CIT and here in Tralee, Institute of Technology in Tralee. That's the spirit that we are embracing and that we are embarking on this strategy with. As our president mentioned, the experience has been difficult for the students, for example, in recent years. And the heart of the university is our students. And under this strategic plan, we are aiming to reach high success rates for all our learners. This will see us commit to high rates of completion and progression among students and to supporting their experience of university life. And it has been very difficult in the last few years with COVID, and coming in here, I suppose, as chairperson, when I started this job just over a year ago, not seeing anyone on campus and seeing just a few students here, I must say, didn't feel like you were part of a university. But it's changed, and even now coming in today, you can all feel just a different atmosphere here. And there's conviviality here, and you can feel the welcome and the friendship here from the students as well. Minister, we are very grateful for the steps that you have taken to alleviate the financial burden on students in last week's budget. And I'm sure you're well aware that our students and university will need help in the long term too. I'm glad you mentioned building accommodation on site and investing in our facilities so that they have the students somewhere up to date, of a high quality and engaging to learn in. And you did mention that we can reach out for other alternatives rather than just taxpayers' funding. And I suppose the big example here on site was the Sports Academy, where most of that funding came from the corporate sector. I see no reason whatsoever, say, because I'm familiar with the site here, same goes for Cork, while we can reach out to the private sector to help us deliver accommodation on site. And I think now that we have the strategic plan, certainly that will be my next big objective anyway, in pushing that as quick as possible. Because I think you need accommodation on site to create the college, I suppose, campus culture and that atmosphere that's very important for the student experience. That's the only way we can compete on a national and international playing field, to have facilities and accommodation on site. We also want MTU to be a success for our staff. We want to be in a position to offer continuing professional development so that we can stay on track to becoming a great place to work in the Southwest that attracts top talent locally, nationally, but also from across the world. Research and innovation are the lifeblood of any university, and that's why this strategic plan, we're setting a target of over 35 million a year in research income. We also want to see high quality papers being published. We're aiming for over 350, and we want over 75% of those to be in open access journals. We want our research to have a positive economic, social, and cultural impact, so it's important. We are ambitious in this area, and this is working already in so many different ways in the region, as you all know, and many of you have been involved in research projects and connecting with industry, and it is working. So we want to accelerate this whole process in the region. And of course, we want to build on our relationships with entrepreneurs and create new and viable commercial ventures. That's good for our students, graduates, and staff, but it's also key to making the Southwest a strong and successful region and an effective counterbalance to the east of the country. In fact, leading regional development is one of the main themes in our strategic plan. I've mentioned before how important MTU is to Tralee, but I believe the university is an asset to the entire Southwest region and will help the region's economy and society for generations to come. And when we think of it, this is the first university in the region since 1845, when UCC was established. So this is a major moment in the history of education in the Southwest, and we must capitalize on it and this major opportunity. And I suppose I'm looking at the people down there, the staff who will do that leadership. A lot of this responsibility is in the hands of the Board of Governors, the executive, but very much so in the staff. And I must say, we are very fortunate to have such a great staff, so interested, so committed, and they have proven this in the past in both CIT and here in Tralee as well. As a new university, our outlook and reach extend far beyond the Cork and Kerry borders. We want MTU to be a welcoming destination for learners and staff of all nationalities. That's why we are planning to increase the percentage of international students and staff at MTU and provide all our staff and students with the opportunity to gain international experience through teaching and learning in other countries or through virtual connections, and through expanding our networks and creating new MOUs and partner with other HEIs. And just as I was walking in today, I saw two students outside and I asked them where they were from, and they're from Malaysia, for example. So when you look around the campus here, you see that there's a very multicultural mix. And this has been very much part of the Institute of Technology here in the past and will be in the future. And that's the same experience I had when I went to Bishopstown, when I went to the College of Art, the Maritime College, and the College of Music in Cork. It's really multicultural, and we have to develop that in the future, and I think we can. I'm sure you'll agree that our strategic plan proves we're a forward-looking university, and we're also looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to growing as a university and as a region, and we're looking forward to the government's continued support with this in line with national policy. So I'm just delighted to be chairperson of your Board of Governors. It was a job I was approached to do, I suppose, not by the minister. But look, I had, as you know, I had retired from politics, or I was, I suppose, in a way, made retired from politics. But I had resigned myself to a different type of life, really, where you'd have a lot of headspace and so on. But anyway, that didn't happen. But look, I'm delighted to have got this opportunity because I feel this is a real challenge. And it's not new, it's there, all of you people. I'm looking at all of you. Like, you have guided both institutes in the past and made them what they are. So like, together now, the staff in both Tralee and Cork can make this something really special. I'm just totally confident that this will work. Otherwise, I wouldn't hang around. And just to say to the Minister as well, look, we're very fortunate to have a Minister for Education here in Tralee. First of all, I would say that, and Norma knows that she has my full support in that ministry. Also, an upcoming Minister for Education, or whatever, Brendan Griffin, who worked in my office for 4 years. And I'm sure that was a good education in politics. And also Minister for Harris here. And look, Simon worked in my office in Dublin voluntary for a number of years. We did a massive national survey in physical education in the post-primary schools, and he tabulated a whole lot, spent days inside counting everything meticulously, and we came up with a really good survey at that particular time. I'm sure you still remember it, Simon. But anyway, it's great that we have someone like Simon as our minister at this particular time. So thank you again for being with us today and for giving us this endorsement. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. As you said, our students are at the heart of our university, and we highly value their opinions on the future of MTU. So today, the presidents of Cork and Kerry Students' Unions will address us on behalf of the student body. And please welcome first the president of the Students' Union on the Kerry campus, Chris Clifford.
Carhirlock, Minister Simon Harris, Minister Norma Foley, Deputy Brendan Griffin, President, fellow members of governing body, students and staff. MTU Kerry Students' Union welcomed the launch of the Strategic Plan 2022-2027. This plan, when delivered, will help develop MTU into a globally recognised student-centric university. We look forward to engaging with this progress on this strategic plan over the next 5 years. Although I'm already proud to say I'm a graduate of MTU, this plan, once achieved, will really announce our our new university on the international stage. While a strategic plan is aspiration, key elements at MTU already need a swift and immediate action to remedy. As mentioned previously, and as we all are aware, accommodation locally is scarce. MTU Kerry Students' Union would like to take this opportunity to thank the community of Tralee for opening up their homes to our students, providing students in need with a safe space, but this will only suffice for the short term. Long term, we need university-owned accommodation at an affordable rate. This is a challenge I lay directly at the feet of the Minister, President, Governing Body and Executive. We cannot ignore that while we can aim high and be aspirational, we also need immediate solutions to a crisis that directly affects students and their well-being. MTU Kerry Students' Union insists that significant progress must be made on this issue in the next 12 to 18 months, and we will be holding all accountable to this. Furthermore, as student population increases, MTU need to take a proactive rather than a reactive approach to issues such as access to campus, parking and retention. While we launch a high-level strategic plan like this, I also advocate a much stronger and operational response to these key issues. It is our hope that Minister Simon Harris, President Maggie Cusack, members of Governing Body and Executive take on board our concerns and ensure they are acted on as soon as possible, but I am sure they will rise to the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Chris's counterpart in Cork is Isabel Kavanagh, and please welcome her now to speak as President of the Students' Union on the Cork campus.
So just first of all, for those who are visually impaired, I'm medium height, I have brown hair, and today I'm wearing a blue dress, and my preferred pronouns are she, her. So Minister, President, fellow members of the governing body, students, staff and friends, Tá anna áthasarm a bheith in éineacht libh ag an ócáid speisialta seo. I am delighted to be part of this special occasion marking the development of MTU with the launch of our strategy. I am proud to be standing here today to represent the students of MTU, and I am here to ensure that their voices are heard at such a momentous occasion. It is great to see that the launch is being launched today, and I am also delighted to see Minister Simon Harris in attendance. However, I know that for our strategy to succeed, we urgently need serious investment in our physical infrastructure, which has been identified as a key strategic enabler. We urgently need more classrooms, labs and learning spaces to bridge the gap between existing facilities and the current and growing needs of our students. We urgently need spaces which are conducive to learning and research, and where active participation in social, cultural and sporting activities is possible. As a university attracting a higher influx of students, the need for an improvement in our physical infrastructure is indisputable. I am eager to see how the infrastructure and services will be improved in MTU in conjunction with this strategy. I am really looking forward to working with the government, with the end goal being that MTU becomes a university of choice and inclusion for our students to flourish, both academically and personally. We also welcome the recent budget announcements in relation to student fees and grants. It's a good start anyway. I am acutely aware, however, that I would be doing a disservice to our students if I didn't raise their concerns at an event such as this. While we in the Students' Union welcome the positive framework that this strategy provides, it is evident that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done, as students are severely struggling at the moment. I am sure that we are all aware, and Minister Harris spoke about it, the accommodation crisis that exists at present, along with the cost of living crisis and the detrimental effects that these crises are having on our students. I hope that with the help of this strategic plan, the university will work alongside the government to provide affordable, purpose-built accommodation for our students. I would like to reiterate the word affordable. We need functional, not fancy accommodation. And also, students need improvements in the public transport system and the provision of park and ride facilities to get them to college. Students cannot come to university if they have no way of getting there or if they have nowhere to live. We, the students, are looking forward to the future developments of our university, and we pledge to play our part in the attainment of our shared vision for its future. We are confident that this shared vision is not the universities alone, but that of the wider community and the government, and I hope that our efforts to achieve our goals will be rewarded by investment in our infrastructure, facilities, and in our people. Ganairi an Boherling, agus Ganerog Ling Galer Lakela. Thank you.
Thank you, President. So as we've been hearing this morning, there is no doubt that MTU is embedded in the community that we serve, and will continue to strengthen those ties for the benefit of everyone in the Southwest region. So representing Kerry County Council, could you please welcome on Cathaoirleach, Councillor John Francis Flynn.
Minister Harris, President of Munster Technological University, Professor Cusick, Chair of the Governing Body, Jimmy Deenahan, members of staff and student and body and invited guests. I'd also like to acknowledge Minister Norma Foley and Deputy Brendan Griffin here as well, colleagues. As Chair of Kerry County Council, I am delighted to be present for the launch of the MTU strategic plan. There is no doubt that the past few years have seen significant change with the merger of the Institutes of Technology Tralee and Cork to form the Munster Technology University and the upgrading to university status. The benefits of having such a third-level institution in Kerry is a huge benefit to the county and the further region, with the ability for students to receive a world-class, recognised education and skills that would benefit the students wherever they pursue their career. It is of huge benefit too to the economy of the county. We have seen the work by businesses incubated in the Tom Crean Centre as they expand and develop into mature businesses, while taking students from the MTU and developing their skills in the business world. In addition, existing businesses have seen Tralee and Kerry as a place to invest in, to build their businesses here, safe and acknowledge that they have a skilled, educated workforce who have access to the best in education learnings. Professor Cusick, I am delighted to be here today and wish you and your staff the very best into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. So that concludes our speeches for today. I would like to thank the President, Minister, Chairperson, Student Union's President and Cathaoirleach for their contributions. Thank you also to Minister Foley and Deputy Griffin for attending. Thank you to everyone who helped organise this event, including the planning team under Vice President for External Affairs, Michael Loftus, and also Mary Dennehy and all of the staff in the President's office, our caterers, our cleaners, our facility staff, and our audiovisual team, and to Aileen Curtain for signing for us throughout this event. Especially can I thank all of you who joined us here in person and via the live stream. The strategic plan is available to download now on our website, mtu.ie. Thank you for your time, thank you for joining us here, and thank you for your support. And we look forward to your continued support as we move forward and begin implementing our shared vision to 2027. Thank you.